you guys seen the film Role Models?
No.
There's a big skit in it where there's a black kid who talks about how all white people look the same. Basically, all white men look like Ben Affleck.
That's pretty good. I'd take that.
Yeah, that's what I
Ben Affleck's hot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ben
it's
Affleck.
got some quite funny people in it. Role Models doesn't get good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. Really.
Well, it depends on how much value you put onto Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
Yeah, sometimes they can be a bit fan-driven, I think.
No, in fact, I think they're quite heavily critically driven. And that's
actually, they are.
I would say that in Rotten Tomatoes, something I found out is that the critics' reviews tend to be very heavily critically driven, but the fan reviews, there's a strong fan driving of that one.
I think you're wrong. That doesn't make any sense.
I think that might be it.
But I don't know. I don't personally necessarily care about critical reviews all the time. Like
sometimes it's a good indicator, though, isn't it? Like if something's got absolute trash reviews, it's rare that it's going to be like, "Oh, that was actually really good."
Well, honestly, sometimes for me, I think I remember a mate of mine said this, and it really resonated with me. He was like, we were trying to decide whether we were going to watch this film. It looks a little pretentious. And I was like, well, let's look on Rotten Tomatoes. And it got like 95%. And he was like, anything with above 90%, I don't want to watch it. because a lot of the times, it's like, it's too heaped in like double entendre. It's like too meaningful, too thinky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like just sit back and relax. And
that
enjoy.
Sounds like I watched Dogville the other week. Have you heard of that?
No, what's it about? Dogs?
It's Lars von Trier. Do you know Lars von Trier?
Yeah, he's like a kind of an embarrassing man who called himself a Nazi in the middle of things, isn't he?
Yes, he did do that, and that probably ruined his reputation. But before doing that, he was quite a well-respected director, and he did the Melancholia, which was quite
with Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst getting depressed. I thought that was quite good. Anyway, this one did get like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, all that, and it was very like you were saying, like pretentious, like a lot. It was all a big metaphor for Jesus and something like that, and it was like 3 hours long. So
yeah,
the classic thing with post 90 things is actually sometimes the opposite. Is that over 90% that you some people say they're bland movies because they appeal. Everyone gets like a 3-star review, and that counts as fresh. So you get loads of like Marvel movies, which are not like amazing.
That's how it works.
So if you've got a really kind of a film that invites a lot of strong emotions,
love it. If it's like a Marmite kind of film.
Yeah, like a documentary about the making of Marmite would get 50-50.
50%. All right, I'm no longer going to check Rotten Tomatoes. You convinced me.
It's up to you whether you enjoy something or not. Like you might love that documentary about Marmite, and then I might hate that documentary about Marmite.
I would love it actually.
But there's so many things out there. You kind of need a guide, and critics I think do a decent job of that.
So many documentaries about Marmite.
I've watched 2 documentaries about Marmite in my life.
No, you haven't.
That's just stumbling upon them. Yeah, okay.
There's not even one.
There is fucking one. There's one on Channel 5, like How It's Made, and it's the Marmite episode.
No, but that's just like Britain's busiest airport. That's not a proper documentary.
Yeah, anything that's made on Channel 5 isn't proper.
Look, How It's Made, maybe it was Channel 4 even, How It's Made does go into the factory, talks about how they develop products and how it...
There's a Vice video about it.
Oh, that's definite. That's 100%.
There's a Vice documentary about Marmite. There's probably loads of them. There's a documentary I watched about Hovis when I was during my gap year when I was 18.
During my gap year, I watched the documentary.
I used to watch quizzes, and I got really good at quizzes. Like University Challenge, I used to know basically everything.
So you basically lived lockdown before.
Yeah, I also used to go out, and I went to Wembley Stadium and worked there for a minuscule amount of time.
Yeah, and I didn't get that job.
No, they said you should work at McDonald's instead.
Because I showed up. Oi! They didn't say that.
They did say that. They said there's a McDonald's down the road if you want to apply there.
They literally did say it. You just
They
made
did.
that
No,
up.
they. Yes, what you told me. They said like they talked about
No,
McDonald's.
the guy. I was wearing a leather jacket and being a bad boy, and the guy.
You had beans on your crotch.
I had beads down my front,
Is
and
that
the
a
guy. It's not a metaphor. This is not Lars von Trier. The guy kind of took me aside and said, "Listen, I like you, kind of thing, but you need to do something for me if you're going to get this job." No, he didn't.
How bad do you want to work at Wembley?
He didn't sexually harass me, but he said something
You
like,
want to be a ball boy, don't you?
he said something like, "Oh, you know, you got to try, you know, if you come to an interview, you know, just at least wear a shirt," stuff like that. Gave me a bit of advice, I think. I don't remember the McDonald's thing. Maybe I blocked it.
Yeah, no, you told me like afterwards about the McDonald's thing. Also, I told you to wear a shirt to the interview.
Yeah, I didn't take your
before
advice,
you came. Yeah, I was like,
If you wear the exact outfit you're wearing now to the interview.
I wore a brown old leather jacket that I got from a charity shop, and yeah, a t-shirt that was stained. But that job was shit anyway. You didn't like it, Owen.
no, it was not a nice job. I mean, it was you were on your feet for 10 hours, and you had to wear smart shoes, even though there's literally no chance that anyone was going to look at your feet if they're a customer.
Yeah,
What did you do?
I was on the tills at Wembley and Emirates Stadium.
Weren't you flipping burgers as well?
Well, no, we didn't flip burgers. I'm not even sure if burgers were flipped. The only thing that really got cooked was, apart from putting things in the oven and stuff, was like the chips.
Are you distracted by Dave's body right now?
Yeah, I am a little bit. It was the chips that got cooked, and I failed to cook at the chips. I was a complete failure when it came. At that point, I didn't know I was dyspraxic or whatever. So I just didn't really understand the space, and everyone else seemed to really understand what the space was as soon as they got in, and where everything
when you say the
went.
space, do you mean the oven space that you had to put the chips?
No,
in?
like the oven. No, it wasn't. It was fried chips. The reason why
I don't quite get this space.
There was lots of things everywhere, and they're like, all right, this, and like you had to walk around a certain way so as not to bump into people. I was really good at the tills because I could do maths better. Although I did once like I was trying to read the menu, and they're like, make sure you remember everything on the menu, and don't look at it because it's unprofessional, whatever. And then this woman came and was like,
they have such high standards for Wembley Stadium.
And it had a weird thing because like basically it was a bit like QRS in that they called you back, so it's a 0 hours thing. So, and you got texted, and they said the software automatically cut the bottom 10% of people on the tills. But anyway, so they were like, don't look at the menu, whatever. You probably remember things. So this woman came up and I think it was my first day, and I was at maybe Wembley Stadium, and she was like, "Oh, is there a vegetarian option?" And I just kind of looked up. I just kind of looked at the thing, couldn't see one. I was like, "Well, I can't look up the thing." I was like, "No, we don't have vegetarian options here. You need to go to another stall." And so I just sent her around the thing. And then later on, it turns out there was a vegetarian burger that I just.
So
I think that is weird that they didn't let you look at the menu. I understand why. Like, if I came somewhere and someone was looking at the menu when I asked for something, I'd think, oh, they don't know what they're doing. But I'd rather, if I was a vegetarian, I'd rather they take like 10 seconds out to have a look at it than, yeah.
Yeah, or couldn't she just look at the menu?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what she was expecting. The problem is
normally, when I go to a stall, I look and then I order. You don't ask someone, do you?
I get because it's a little bit different from like working at a McDonald's because I say every stall, a lot of the different places you work, they're all kind of slightly different because they cater to different people. They use that. So like the one that I was really good at the cooking was the one that did pizzas because literally all you had to do is put them in the oven. The only other time we spent was like pouring beers.
What did you have to do with the chips that was more complicated?
It was just that like
were they deep fried?
No, so they were deep fried. The chips were deep fried. The only issue is there was a guy in a chef's hat who was like, "Do the chips."
He was the only issue.
He was the only like thing.
He was
like,
the professional.
He was the like.
Is there anyone in an astronaut outfit? Is that the thing with space?
No, but okay. So basically, this guy in a chef's hat or whatever, chef's outfit, and he was like, "Do the chips." So I did the chips. The thing is that one of the chip fryers, it was broken. the stand. So it kept. So I put it on, and it kept on going, and it was like splashing hot oil, and I was like, "This is splashing hot oil," and he was like, "Give it to me." You have to kind of maneuvered it with like a little knack. So it obviously something he knew about.
Comes with the hat.
That comes with the hat. So, but the thing is that he just basically was not happy that I didn't know how to do that. But the thing is, I was just putting it up in the same way, like the normal way.
And you'd only just started working there, so how the heck would you know that?
Yeah, anyway, so I end up going in the front till, and I was pretty good at the front till, apart from denying vegetarians food.
You just did that afterwards, but on principle.
And also, I think I served a blatantly 14-year-old boy alcohol once. Because I was just
at the time you knew he was blatantly 14.
Well, because
when you say blatantly, I just imagine him with like a
school bag,
like a
holding his mum's hand.
No, because what happened was there's a lot, because there's massive queues because you get lots of rushes.
A birthday sticker saying 14 today.
There was like a there's a big fucking rush.
And he looks at the sticker and goes, 18.
No, there's a big fucking rush because it's half time, you know. So I had to get people there because, you know, you have to try and serve them all before the end of half time so they don't miss anything. So there were these 3 boys came, and 2 of them ordered like Sprite. And one of them was like, "Oh, can I have a beer, please?" And I was like, "Okay."
No way.
And then the other one was like, "Actually, I don't want a Sprite. Could I have a beer as well?"
No.
And then my team leader came, and after I poured out the beer, she was like, "You sure these people are 18?" And I was like, "Oh crap, I completely forgot." I completely didn't, because you were just trying to serve everyone very quickly, so you didn't think about these kind of things.
Didn't think about the law.
Didn't think about the law.
I completely
hat with a little spinny top.
I mean, if I was 16-year-old me and I went to a football match and got and I was an 18-year-old me was serving.
You would get ID.
I would not have been ID'd. I would have been very happy.
You probably freak the fuck out because the 18-year-old you is serving you.
It was like, "Oh, that guy looks a bit like me. Can I have a Sprite? Oh wait, I want a beer." I ID'd one person at Stand and Calling, remember, and then they laughed at me.
Oh, no one ID'd anyone at Stand and Calling.
No, I ID'd one person because it was a little.
You were the only person.
A little short lads. Because you know, it turned out he was part of a constructed reality show as well.
He was a midget.
You were there. Remember, there was that festival show in like 2009 or 2010 or 11 or 12, whatever.
I didn't go to all the Stand and Calling.
I think you went to this one. It was called Summer Days. And the idea was it was following some alpha teens. No, they were going to like they were following some like trendy teens who were going to like 30 festivals in 30 days or something like that. All these things. The idea is and then they were filming lots of stuff. And then this guy, this one of the characters who came up to me, and I was like, "Can I get a beer?" And I was like, "Oh, do you have any ID?" And then he like gave it to me, and then he was laughing at me, and I just got nervous. So I just literally couldn't find out where his date of birth was. I was like looking at it, I was just like getting nervous. I just looked at it for enough seconds to make it look like I was like, "Okay, that's fine." He could have been 16. I don't know.
Why was he laughing at you though?
I think he was laughing because he was like
he was
with his friends. He was an alpha teen, and he was like he was.
And you were a beta adult.
I was actually also a teen at that point, I think. But I was a teen in the kind of service position, and he was like on TV at that time. He was on.
Oh, so he was super cool. Yeah.
He was like,
look at this pleb IDing me.
Yeah, we weren't being filmed, but he was like laughing, and I was like, and then I got nervous.